My inquiry question is discipline in schools effective, and is school discipline broken? And what is the primary purpose of student discipline? Now, when I looked at this, I found some statistics that suspensions remain a widely utilized approach for school discipline, despite the lack of evidence that they prevent future misbehaviors or that they make schools safer. And suspensions further decrease a student's odds of graduating by 20%. So we need to take a look at that as we rethink what would be classified as normal, bad in quotes behavior. So behind these statistics and behind each suspension or expulsion are human beings. There's kids, teachers, parents just doing the best that they can with the tools that they have. And we actually need to look at thinking that dramatic changes do need to happen in the way that students are disciplined. Kids with social, emotional, and behavioral challenges lack those important thinking skills and those tools. And when we think about that and we look at suspensions, um, they have been questioned because they can reinforce negatively the very behavior for which students are suspended. They fail to teach the desired or replacement behavior. It affects often our short term. It fails to address the multiple factors that typically contribute to student behavior, and it can create a negative classroom and school climate. So, when we look at this, we need to look at what our philosophy of children are, and when we're trying to help children, which we are as teachers every day, we will be dealing with behavioral challenges, and we definitely need to have a philosophy of children. So there really are two types of philosophies that we can look at. It's kids can do well if they can, and kids can do well if they want to. And those are both from Ross Green. So obviously, having those two separate philosophies, the kids do well if they want to, was a more traditional style of way of thinking of kids. But if we look at it, that if they have the tools, that they will do well if they can. And both of these philosophies have extremely different ramifications when we think about it in the end. Now, the thing that I was going to talk about was restorative practice. When we look at suspensions and look at the way that we do discipline children in school, we need to look at how we do that. Now, I did mention three things on this poster at the bottom here where it says we need to promote connections as teachers between students and teachers and students and admin and students. And the second thing was that we need to uphold structure and fair practice and be consistent. And we need to integrate student voice as well. Now, I'm not saying 100% that we do not ever suspend or follow through with something like that. It's just that this is another way to think about discipline, and some other things that we could look at for um, the restorative practice is that looking at the connections and the structure and the student voice and looking at discipline differently, we can offer up problem solving for children. We could offer up counseling, community services, behavioral monitoring, or appropriate in school suspensions if needed that can include academic tutoring, instruction on skill building, and skills, giving them skills and tools that are the challenging behavior for them. So, just another thought on discipline in schools.